What stupid things did you do when you were younger to try to look cooler? Posted by Minimum Plastic. Bud of Steelers. My cousin would squint his eyes all the time because he wanted to look like Danny from Grease. But he ended up being taken to the eye doctor because his parents thought he had a problem. Are you autistic? Well, yes, you are. His parents thought he had a problem. In his parents' defense, he did have a problem. Spring Fling Queen. Just not one that required an eye doctor. My Hair's Reddit. It was all that grease lightning. Farts McGee. All I could imagine was French Stewart. French Stewart. Yeah, that was the guy from Third Rock from the Sun that was always squinting. Okay. In elementary school, I thought it was so cool to lose your voice due to sickness. Some days I'd come into class and pretend I couldn't speak. I'd even put my hand up to answer questions, but I'd answer with that I thought was sign language was. I physically cringed reading this. Catfish toes. When you're actually image an elementary school kid doing it, it's just silly and a bit cute. Like most things I cringe about, I forge how perceptibly young I was at the time. Susie QP. When my sister was going through her Helen Keller fan phase, she would fake sign language like a demented mime. Usually she would grab your hand and wriggle her fingers in your palm, making you be her erstwhile Annie Sullivan. If she couldn't catch you, she would revert to waving her arms around as her fingers tootled a couple of invisible flutes. She looked ridiculous, of course. At the height of my sister's blind insanity, our family went to see an authentic old steam engine train that was passing through town. A TV crew were there to do a story for the 6 o'clock news, and they somehow decided to interview me, a 10-year-old kid. I don't remember what I said, but the whole family and our neighbors gathered in front of the TV that evening to see my big moment. And there she was, right behind me, fingers flashing in fake sign language interpretation. I have no idea what those news people were thinking, airing a spectacle like that. Maybe they couldn't tell. When my sister was going through her Helen Keller fan phase. As all children do. Are you autistic? Well, yes, you are again. In all seriousness, back when joke books were a thing, Helen Keller jokes were always popular. Yeah, I remember that. Susie QP, as all children do. My sister was an unusual child. Her Abraham Lincoln period was by far the most memorable. Our entire family can recite the Gettysburg Address to this very day. Seriously? I'm famous on Imgur. Her Abraham Lincoln period was by far the most memorable. What other phases did she go through? Susie QP replies, oh my God, where to begin? She read a book about a little girl with cerebral palsy and became infatuated with the idea of being disabled. So she rummaged around in the garage and came up with a couple of croquet mallets, which she used as crutches for a few humiliating weeks. In high school, she suddenly became Jewish and changed her name from Kathy to Elohima. Probably shouldn't have used her real name there. She wrangled an invitation to the bat mitzvah of a classmate and tried to give her own speech. The rabbi was not inclined to allow it. So she went out to the parking lot and entertained the valet parking guys. She went on to an adult greatness as a fake PhD in whatever subjects come up in conversation. She routinely says things like, as an astrophysicist, I really must correct you. She's quite something. Yeah, she's something, all right. Guess she'd be entertaining if nothing else. Pius Bova says, this sounds like it could have been written in one of David Sedaris's memoirs about his sister, Amy, of Strangers with Candy. I never saw that show. If I recall, one of his stories involved their father thinking women should be svelte and trying to hide his whore when she showed up to a family event wearing the bottom half of a fat suit. without letting on it was fake. David Random. My favorite is when she did a photo shoot where she had makeup to look like she had a black eye and then left it on for her shift as a waitress, and when customers would ask about it, she'd just tell them, "I'm in love." I know the first 4 words. I think he's talking about the Gettysburg Address. C-tie. When I was in elementary school, I was convinced I was an actual robot because of a joke my dad made about how he built me out of spare sprinkler parts in the garage. I was absolutely convinced I was a robot and tried to convince my friends I was too. Love to go. I want to use this as an adult. I think I lost my voice. Leah T. That's a good way to actually avoid these questions. Kevin, do you know the answer? Of course. Was. Okay, your voice is failing. Get better. You, Mary, can you answer that? Fuzzy L47. I ate rocks at the bus stop in order to impress a girl. Didn't you? Just picked up a handful of thick gravel and shoved it in my mouth and swallowed while making eye contact. I thought girls liked guys that did dangerous things. Not stupid things, though. So this made sense in my child brain. It backfired, of course. And she never spoke to me again. I don't remember pooping those rocks out, so they may still be in there for all I know. That's not what sex, drugs, and rock and roll refers to. Oh God, the kid that would eat rocks is totally the kid who thought it was cool to ninja roll every opportunity he got. Can confirm. Current ninja roller. Let's see, I did stuff like this constantly. My mom rode the individualism, be yourself, don't change for anyone train really hard. I think it was some parenting method she picked up from my brother, who was shy and self-conscious, especially about some of his less conventional habits and hobbies. However, I had been pretty comfortable in myself, but her encouragement took it to the point where I felt like I had to do weird stuff to stand out and be somebody. So I did all kinds of random stuff. Never swallowed gravel, but definitely learned which plants were edible so I could just openly graze on them during school for shock value. At least he learned what was edible. The idea of ignore people who criticize you for marching to the beat of your own drum essentially became, if no one is criticizing you, you aren't different enough. At 12, I was an introvert who liked makeup, Game Boy, drawing, and Taekwondo. But that never felt like enough, so I forced a lot of interests and behavior patterns, even if they were disruptive and sometimes even mean, because I had been raised to believe that the worst thing a person could be was uninteresting. This was a few years before the LOL random evil penguin holds up sport craze of the early 2000s. So I got a kick out of watching people hit that be different at all costs phase en masse. This thread gives me the feeling that if instead of telling kids to stand out because everyone else is boring, then we wouldn't have kids growing into adults who feel like they aren't enough because they grew up to be like 99% of people. I'd rather have heard, if you think things aren't common, that's okay. If everyone else likes it, that's okay too. But nah, dance like nobody thinks you're a effing maniac. Sells more t-shirts. Dance apprehension. So much this, it's rampant among adults of a certain age. There's at least one meme a day on my Facebook, like, it's cool to be weird, so don't care about what other people think. Hello? Connecting with other people and caring about what they think is like the basis of good mental health. OMFG, I went through this weird attention-seeking phase in elementary PE, where I would just sit in the field and chew on grass. I remember it being hard to swallow. I did all kinds of weird, stupid stuff as a child that makes me want to slap my younger self. I worry about your digestion. Why? He's like an alligator now. The kid that swallowed rocks. I'm literally guffawing, like loud, obnoxious, snort-style laughter that feels fantastic. Thank you, OP, for eating those rocks and making my day. Birds do it all the time, CJ Dudley says. Yeah, they do, to help their digestion. Susie QP. This is probably the most embarrassing thing I've ever done. I was in 5th grade and home alone for a couple of hours. We had a bowl of grapefruits at the counter for my mother's most recent diet fad. I was picking them up, trying to juggle, just messing around bored, and I suddenly had an idea. I got one of my mother's bras out of the dirty clothes hamper, put it over my skinny chest, and you guessed it, plopped a pair of grapefruits into the cups. Put my top back on, and oh wow, I look fabulous. I walked around, looked in the mirror, danced a little hoochie coochie dance in the living room. Pretty soon I'm convinced that I look completely natural and super teenaged. I go out on the porch to watch my reflection strut back and forth in front of the window. God, I am killing this boob thing. My bike is right there, parked by the mailbox. So I'm riding my huffy banana seat bike around the block, enjoying the wind in my boobs, when my parents come along in our car. They wave, I wave. They pull over. A grapefruit drops to the pavement and rolls slowly under the car. I die of shame, but somehow remain fixed in place for all of eternity. My mother puts her face into her open purse and begins to shake while making muffled snorting noises. My dad coolly leans across the passenger window and eyes a twinkle. Says, "Going for a little ride, are you? Nice day for it. We'll see you back home then." And they drive off. I die a few more times. Then slowly navigate towards home with one remaining grapefruit sagging listlessly in defeat. That's the best one. Work Lemmy. Honestly, I'm amazed you didn't just cut your losses and never go back. Easier to take your chances on the streets than go back to face that. Right? I should have just put my grapefruit down and plotted to Grandma's. Or just keep the remaining grapefruit as rations to start your new life. Radar O'Reilly. This reminds me of something my 1st and 2nd grade best friend did. I live in a trashy town, so even when I was a kid, I knew what hookers were, even if I didn't know what they did. One day, on the way back to my house from school, we saw a hooker plying her trade on the corner and had been laughing and talking about it. Once we get to my place, my buddy decides to hike up his shorts like Daisy Dukes and put on a pair of my mom's heels and even tied his t-shirt up around his belly for good measure. Right about the time he starts strutting around saying, "Be please," and crap like that in an imitation of trashy hookers everywhere. My mom walks in. She looks mortified. But we thought it was the funniest thing ever. That actually is the funniest thing ever. I'm dying. Yeah, he's a drag queen now. Should have seen that coming. The "be please" thing is a dead giveaway. He said it really sassy-like, too. Ghastly Sprite. I'm in tears laughing at this. I feel so bad, but what a great story. He's talking about the grapefruits. My youngest son is currently in the hospital and is quietly redditing in his bed while I try to quietly Reddit from my couch type piece of furniture. But you made it absolutely impossible for me not to laugh loudly. What color was your bike? Mine was the blue one with the sparkly blue banana seat. My best friend had the hideous dark yellow one. Same model as mine. We did something similar when we were kids. We mostly did it the day we did it because my older boy cousins were staying with us for the weekend, and we thought they were cute. These teenage boy cousins were in our backyard, building a go-kart thing with my little brothers. They'd been working on it all day, and I felt pretty shafted from lack of attention by my cousins. So my BFF and I got dressed in some of my mom's slips. They looked like a spaghetti strap 90s. And put apples wrapped in tissues in the bra parts of the slips. Then we nonchalantly strolled past the boys and called out hi to them. My brothers didn't even glance our way, but the teens were laying on the ground and howling. Ugh, so much cringe. Have some gold for all us girls that thought we looked so good with our fake boobs from the fruit, socks, and other random household appliances. LOL. Thank you, sister. Here's a little joke for your kindness. Why do preteen girls have square breasts? Because we forgot to take the Kleenex out of the box. I was in 5th grade and home alone for a couple hours. We had a bowl of grapefruits on the counter. I was expecting for sure something to go in a different direction. The wind in my boobs made me snort. Man, I'm on my job trying not to laugh like a hyena over this. I wish I could give you a gold. I think I turned purple trying not to laugh. I'd die a few more times. Best part of the story. You're right, foreign necessary. That was pretty funny. I told my best friend that I have another persona from another dimension. The other dimension me is a secret agent. And I told her that she will be meeting my other dimension me, the next day. Then the next day, I started wearing shades and basically anything that can be associated with secret agents. I would randomly use gadgets to perform simple tasks, and parkour going to rooms and school grounds. Wear a single earbud at all times. So obviously fake, says this. Mumble things into the underside of your wrist. Take a spitball intended for the teacher. You know, secret agent stuff. This would be a great kid's book. Bomberman 64 was decent. Yeah, that would be a good kid's book. Isn't that basically the Miley Cyrus Disney show? No, that's Hannah Montana. Yodeling Yoda. Forbidden Way. This post is not getting enough attention. Well, it is now. Are you happy? No. That's the spirit. So, did she buy it? We need to know. Wasn't this Phineas and Ferb movie? Cricket 9818. When I was in 4th grade, I thought that color coordinating every outfit was the way to go. Red shorts with a red shirt, blue shirt with blue pants, and so on. And yes, I always made sure to tuck my shirt into my shorts. Flamey the Dragon says, hey, works for the Power Rangers. Shaft Smunk, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. Honestly, I'm all for unicolor bodysuits being the default clothing. Kanye West. Not Kanye. That's actually kind of cute. Cricket. Where were you in 97? Accomplished Olive. My kindergartner likes to dress like that now, including shirt always tucked into shorts. He always goes for the monochromatic look. Royal blue shirt, phthalo blue shorts, not sure how to say that, and Carillion socks are his jam. Phthalo blue, shout out to Bob Ross. Trash account. Indy Hippis? When my kid was in kindergarten, he did the polar opposite. Checkered shorts with a striped shirt and a clip-on tie, rain boots, and a baseball cap just to complete the outfit. As random as you can get. Hey, I'm all for individuality. When I was 9-10, I smoked a piece of wheat straw. Hey, at the time I thought wheat equaled weed. I remember after inhaling, I coughed and said, man, this stuff is strong. Edit. My brother used this against me for the longest time. He would always threaten to tell our parents that I smoked weed. Ha ha ha. Philosophy. Unrelated to the original topic, but made me think of this story. One time in 5th grade, me and my friends thought it'd be cool to roll up dried grass, like dead grass from the playground, in notebook paper like a joint. We lit it on fire with a magnifying glass during recess and egged one of our other friends to take a rip. Well, The kid hits it fat and basically coughs up a lung while we were dying laughing. I remember him saying, "Guys, don't tell Deputy Rob or I might not pass dare." Oh, good times. The guy I did this with passed away unexpectedly a few years ago. Even almost 20 years later, I still consider him my best friend. I think about him all the time still. This is one of the better memories I have when we were kids. Life is weird, man. Oh, that's kind of sad. Insanity chick. Once I said something relating to wheat to my teacher in high school, and she thought I said weed. The plot thinnens. When I was 8, I was trying to show off to my brothers by doing a flip off of a folding chair. As soon as I went to jump, the chair folded in, and all 10 of my fingers got caught between the bars. Ugh. My older brother ran over to yank my hands out, while I was screaming my face off. I'm now 11 years wiser, and 1 thumb shorter. Wow. Brancher. Damn, you really lost a thumb from that accident? Yeah, the doctor manages to pull the skin back together at the end of my thumb, and my nail surprisingly grew back, but my left thumb is shorter than my right, and looks more like a toad than a thumb. I was the coolest kid in 3rd grade for like a whole week, so it was totally worth it. Man, I don't know about that. Slammin' 1, 2, 3. When I was in elementary school, I thought wearing a Band-Aid on my knee made me look cool. Having a cut or scrape wasn't necessary. Coin Ross. Nelly one-upped you on that one. See Augustus M. I may or may not have done the same thing, but not on my knee. Uh-oh. Nor even just one. One time in 3rd grade, I walked out the door with an entire left arm and hand covered in Band-Aids. My adoptive mom grabbed my collar and yoinked me back in the house like a cartoon and angrily took them all off. I was screaming about how she was going to keep me from being cool. The entire time, of course. Simtastic. Tried to jump over a group of girls sitting on a couch. Slipped and plowed right into them. I did not look cool. But we had some good laughs about it at least. Yeah, at least they were good-natured girls. This reminds me of my first home video my parents have of me. I must have been 2, 3 years old and was wearing a cute little Superman outfit. I had been jumping off the armrest of the couch and belly flopping onto the seat part. Well, they put a camera on me, and for the first time, I managed to jump all the way over the couch and face plant on the wooden floor beyond the opposite armrest. Ugh. Has to be the best film debut ever. If kids weren't so durable, our species would be in trouble. Yeah, you got that right. Okay. I was a not like other girls girl. I acted like I was so different for liking hard rock music, anime, and video games. Even though there was plenty of other girls who were into it too. Yeah. I could have been making friends with people with similar interests, but instead I patted myself on the back for having mostly male friends. I stumbled upon the Not Like Other Girls subreddit, and I cringed so hard because I used to be one of them. Amazing Awesomenator. Reminds me of Different Kinds of Princess from Gallivant. Strangers are dangers. The internalized misogyny years. Insanity chick. You know how some kids say present instead of here in elementary school? I said president because I wanted to be president. Hey, I did that in algebra, and my teacher gave me so much crap for it. The Incredible Blue. Wearing my collar popped. Ugh. DC Blue Star. Just hearing that term always reminds me of this. Oh, we might have to take a look at that. His eyes are so close together, I wonder if he has depth perception. Let's see that picture. Look at this guy. What does he got? 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of coolness. You may be cool, but you'll never be 4 popped collars cool. Oh, man. Oh, what did people say? We're going to have to end on that. You can't beat that. Delica. His eyes are so close together that I wonder if he has depth perception. DC Blue Star. He looks like his name is probably Trevor. He did look like a Trevor. Smokes. Let's go. Peg Bundy Bonbons. Alright, guys. That's going to do it for this one. I don't think we could top that. So, hopefully you liked the video, and thank you for watching.